Yeah. Hello everyone. Thank you so much for waiting. Let's start with Azure cloud provider, or Azure services, right? So as you understand how the AWS cloud works, what they are doing, what they are doing as a business, how they are providing solutions to the customers. So the same way Azure is also giving same kind of services or solutions to the customers. There are little difference between Azure and AWS based on the cost level and few services, but rest of the things are almost same. It's not that big difference, but only major difference is cost wise. So AWS will cost a little more than Azure. In Azure also, I'm not sure about the free subscription that you can have. In Azure, we call it as subscriptions. So for the licenses or to use the free services, we call them as a subscriptions. So if you have the subscription with you, we can do some basic experiments on the Azure platform as well. So let me share my screen and then I'll walk you through what the major things that we are going to discuss. So yesterday we talked about what are the Azure certification paths, how is Azure is leading in the market, and if what is the difference between AZ-104 and AZ-500, right? So and also some of the security aspects like Azure Active Directory, Azure AD users and group, and Azure NSGs. So we will talk in depth about um, network groups, network connection on the Azure. So I'll quickly go through again the discussions that we did yesterday on the certifications and the syllabus, just in case any of you are new to the class today. Okay. So what is Microsoft Azure? So again, there are multiple. They also have their data centers on multiple regions, multiple continents like Europe, US, and Asia. So, why they want to have their data centers is because once they build, if suppose someone is trying to connect between two regions, two locations, they should have the uh, high availability or maybe redundancy to connect. If they are not able to connect from the Europe region, Europe data center, they will have to route towards the nearest other continents so that they will have redundancy in connecting to the servers or connecting to the any of the web applications, right? So for that reason, they over 200 services including compute, storage, AI, and security, the Microsoft Azure is currently providing. So coming to the certification overview, as like same with AWS, Azure is also have the fundamental certifications, associate level and expert level. Okay, so the first fundamentals are almost free for all the cloud providers. So you can also go to the Azure website and do the fundamental certification. You will get a certificate once you complete the course. Okay, so it is very important to have the fundamentals strong in case if you want to learn any of the AZ 104 or AZ 500. What we cover in AZ 104, it is an administrator associate. Not only if you are an application developer or application support analyst, or if you're providing a technical support to your end users in your company. So this administrator associate level knowledge will helpful if you are solving any tickets or providing a web application support uh, to your end users. So there are multiple aspects that we are going to study in our syllabus. So what we are doing, what we do in our day-to-day activity or in our syllabus, or once we start our course is we try to study around the storages, virtual machines, virtual network, and resources. So there are a lot to learn in the storage. There is database comes into the picture, how you manage those databases, how you can monitor them if there is any issues, how you troubleshoot and monitor, how you give a protection, right? So data protection is very important these days. So how you give the data protection, and suppose, let's say, platform as a service that comes into the picture if you are hosting web application or any storage services, right? So we will study around that, and as well as virtual machines. So how to manage virtual machines, how to deploy them, what are the features that are available in the virtual machines. We call in the AWS it is called instances. In the Azure it is called as virtual machines, right? So, and virtual network is another important aspect. So if you are connecting two regions to different locations, express service route is the one of the concept in the Azure, and also VPN connect if you want to have a VPN between the Azure locations, or if you want to connect your hybrid network to on premises to cloud network, you want to have a connectivity between them. So that's where the networking concepts comes very handy. And virtual networking is the one of the major thing that we are going to study. And backups and resources, so this is newly added to the syllabus for AZ 104, backups and Azure resources. So this is a roadmap for you if you are planning for the certification. If not, also then also it is fine. If the first is fundamentals. If you are planning for AZ 104 or AZ 500, so it is always good to go with the fundamentals. So if you guys, I will cover a few of the fundamentals as I told, a few important aspects that we need as a mandatory for AZ 104. I'll cover them. But it's if you are doing the fundamental course and coming to the classes, it will be well and good. You will be able to grasp the content more easily. Okay. So, and also we can, instead of just focusing on basics, we can do some advanced experiments, if it is if all okay. Otherwise we need to focus on more fundamentals. Okay, so that's about it. And what all the modules that you will gain once you do this Azure course, right? So the one major thing is Azure identity. What identity? It's just like an IAM solution where it is provided. So identity is nothing but Azure Active Directory, where we provide users uh, users and groups. We will provide them permissions and also security and authentication part. So that will come with the identity. And governance and compliance is also one of the module that we are going to cover. Azure administration, how we can have Azure SQL running or other CLI, the partial CLI console that we have, so that we can use that to run the services, and other use cases that we will see around virtual networking. As I told, inter-site connectivity, as I told, between two different sites, or maybe between hybrid and cloud platform, that we can see. And Azure storage, yeah, databases, and providing security to them, monitoring, managing those databases is also very important. Azure virtual machine, yesterday in our class we did a simple virtual machine hosting. So I think you guys have understood what is the difference between AWS and Azure machine hosting, right? So it is easy to learn both the virtual machines in both the platforms. And yeah, so this is about the Active Directory. So why most of the companies will go for Azure in these days is because of the it gives very easy access to the Active Directory. In previous scenarios, If you have worked in any of the data centers, so you must be knowing that Azure Active Direct, not only Azure Active Directory, you have to build a physical server for that. And if any new user comes into your organization, you have to manually add them in that server. For the authentication, you need to build everything quite manually, right? So, but here in the Azure, everything is taken care by in the backend, the Azure. You just need to onboard the user, give permission to them, look for the authentication. So give them a permission for Office 365 or any other apps that you have. So you can actually use as authentication and authorization can be managed very easily on the Azure. We can do the similar thing on the AWS as well. So, I mean, this is a feature both of the platforms provide actually. So, and AZ500 is, as I told, it's all about the security. Once we understand the concepts of all these things like virtual network, Azure administration, traffic management or storage, so all and data protection monitoring. So all these things are we are providing a security for these services or these platforms that we are using, right? So if you just host Active Directory, we need to give security for that if you're onboarding any applications to the Azure. So it's not just that you just onboard it and leave. You need to, in the backend, you need to provide a security for that as well. Okay. And this is about the certifications as we discussed yesterday. If you are targeting for the certification, it's good to go with um, the fundamentals first and then AZ104. Once you finish the AZ104 certification, then you can target AZ500. So these days, Azure is very much in demand in most of the European countries, I would say. Maybe in India, it's like 30-40% are using Azure, and majority of the companies will go for AWS. If the budget is little less, then they will go for GCP as well. Everyone will provide us same security solutions. It's just that which platform that suits you and what kind of a skill sets the engineers have, that comes into the picture while selecting the service provider. Okay. And let me know if you guys have any questions around Azure or maybe AWS or any cloud platforms. If you want to discuss any solutions or share your real-time experience. I see maybe Rijwan has just joined with us, or Sunil. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Hi, Rijwan. Yeah, I can see your message. Um, have you attended my yesterday's class? Okay, no problem. So today I just did a recap of yesterday what we covered. Um, yeah, I see that you have just joined. So let me know if you have any questions. You can ask me. We can discuss. That's no problem. Or you can explain what is your background, how many years of experience you have. So I have discussed till now. We started at 8 o'clock. So we started with AWS first. So AWS solution architecture that we will target. So all the concepts that we need to cover in solution architecture in the AWS, and in the Azure, we are targeting AZ104 and AZ105. So before that, we need to also cover the fundamentals, right? So based on that, we will have a roadmap how to cover that. So I see that you have 3 years of experience in cloud itself. Yeah, that's good. What exactly you were doing in the cloud? Are you managing any infrastructure, or you were managing databases, or it's just administration level? So Suhas, Mohit, or Rahul, Sunil, anyone have any questions? Let me know. Yes, Suhas. I see that you have a question. Let me know. Okay, is there any morning batch? Rishwan is asking. I think the course coordinator will get back to you on the timings.
Yes, you have a weekend batch. We are planning this weekend, Saturday, Sunday, 11 a.m. So we can discuss by tomorrow regarding your concern, Rizwan. You can discuss your concern or doubts related to the course in this session, please.
Yeah, I see that Suhas is texting. Some of them can be divided in categories like networking, security, analytics, storage, DB, all this going to cover in this. Yes, absolutely. So that's why we are targeting the associate level certification. So uh, why associate level? The fundamentals will cover only some part, like maybe networking and some basics, and associate level will have almost all different categories. So what I'm going to cover almost is about the network. We will talk about virtual networking in the Azure, why virtual networking is required, how we will do some experiments around that. We will try to build a a host machine, and then we will discuss about those networking concepts and security. So security again, in this Azure NSTs will comes into the picture in the security, which is network security groups. So in the network security groups, so we again have multiple subsections, like uh, maybe we will talk about how those can be implemented and other things. So storage and monitoring. Yes, storage is like yeah, as you told, it's a database, right? So storage, yes, we will see how we can protect the storages, how we can more manage those storage devices or storage machines, and also provide them a load balancing or provide them a network backend. So everything is a bundle. I would say everything is interrelated. So if you're just hosting a virtual machine, you will come to know what kind of a storage that we need to give, right, in the backend. What is the CPU memory usage that is allocated for that virtual machine, and also networking concept also comes into the picture, where how the interfaces are connecting, how it is getting the internet to that virtual machine. It's in which VPC it is there, what subnet to provide to that. So everything is interconnected. It's not just individual concepts. So while we start our course, you will understand how those concepts are getting related. I hope I answered your question. Let me know if that is answered, or if you have any questions.
Yeah, hi.
Hi, Sunil.
Okay. So, yeah, I was there in the yesterday session also.
Yeah.
So I am working as a system admin for last 4 years,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So I can manage the physical support of the IT in a single firm.
Hmm. Okay.
I don't have exposure to the cloud right now.
Okay. Yeah,
So
yeah, I understand. So system admin in the sense where you're dealing with all these L1, L2
yes,
level questions, okay,
yes,
queries or tickets.
networking, printing, and physical system related issues.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's very good to have a experience in the infrastructure that overall comes into the infrastructure support, right? So if you have that kind of experience, you can easily relate that to cloud, and you it will be very easy to understand. Why I'm saying is because let's say that um if we are trying to explain about networking, virtual network, so there is a concept called virtual network in the cloud, right? So
Yes.
if you know the real networking or the infrastructure networking, you can
Uh-huh.
relate that to the virtual networking. So for example, subnets, how to you connect the NIC interfaces between two devices, or
Yes.
you can connect interface, right? So the same way how the NIC interfaces are there virtually, how the subnets we are dividing virtually.
Okay.
All the switch will what will switch will do? Switch will divide the network logically, right? So you
Uh-huh.
will be able to understand these concepts very easily. It just needs a little bit of efforts
Mhm.
that understand. I mean, just logically imagine everything on the cloud platform. And that's it.
So how easy it is for just for the sake of getting certification? How easy we
Okay,
can get this
certification.
completed?
Okay, certification needs a little bit of practice.
Okay.
It's not definitely easy because you will be spending in one go around $120 or something. Uh,
Okay.
if you fail, it won't be refund, right? So
Okay.
it requires practice, dedication, to be honest, and covering all the concepts. That is very important. So I would say if you are targeting a certification, you can go with one platform first, either target AWS or Azure, and then do a
Yeah, yeah.
certification.
So yeah, so coming to that, so if I target any one domain, right,
Yeah.
any one platform, sorry. So
Mm.
after completing means the learning from this NextGen IT, so is there any support? So means I can continue my study for the certification, or you guys can help me to get that means like practice session, anything like so I can complete
Mm.
this exam.
No, I'm not sure about the support, but I will
Mhm.
be providing all the materials, or we will be covering all the syllabus with regards to the certification. Uh, so I'm not really sure about the support. I think Amar will answer about
Support in
that.
the sense, yeah, support in the sense, means are these are there anything practice kind of material included, or is like
Yes,
a
this is
certain or
yeah. We will cover the syllabus targeting the certification itself. If we
Mhm.
go with, I mean, these cloud providers have given a path, learning path, right? So
Mhm.
why those learning paths has been given is because for our understanding itself, right? For
Yes,
our managing our resources, or you are working for an organization because they have their own cloud infrastructure. So based on that, we will cover all the syllabuses. Suppose, let's say, for example, if I take AWS solution architecture, right? So before doing AWS solution architecture, it's good to have the fundamentals. So that's the roadmap the AWS has been already given. Okay,
yes,
so we will target the certification syllabus itself. Yeah. And that's very good, actually. They have everything included in that syllabus.
yes. I checked on both of the platforms, so there
Mhm.
both learning material and the sessions, the practice modules are there, so
Yeah,
one can easily aim for that also if
yeah, right.
thanks.
All right, thank you. Rahul, any question? No problem. So I will little bit explain how the Azure platform look likes. What so that we can wind up the session now. Okay. Okay, this is Azure platform. This I mean, if so, this is a home section that we have. So this is again, I'm not sure whether this is a free tier or not to cover in the something Git is also going to cover in this course. GitHub solutions, yes, we will be taking some of the examples from the GitHub and will be going around that as well. Yeah. So we have a questions from Suhas. He is asking something Git. So also, yeah, I'll be taking some of the GitHub solutions for our practical scenarios, and then we will be implementing that or doing some experiments around that. Okay. Yeah, let's come to the Azure platform. So in the Azure platform, this is a home page that looks like this. So these are the all different services that they have, right? So these are the favorite item. If you go to all services, so these are all different solutions, and they have divided in AI, machine learning, analytics, compute solutions, containers, databases, DevOps, general. So these are all solutions they have, but we will be targeting or we will be learning the solutions which are relevant for our certification. For example, virtual network, right? So if you want to see about the virtual network, either you can search from here or you can search here as well. So if you search virtual network, you will get an option, so you can click on that. So what is virtual network, right? So virtual network is nothing but, suppose let's say this is our VNet. So you have created a one VNet. So in this VNet you will configure a subnets. Okay, why VNet is required, you will understand in a minute. Okay, inside this subnets are there. So inside this you have hosted your virtual machines. Okay, so these virtual, if you want to connect between these two virtual machines, these subnets, if you assign a subnet 1 to this and subnet another one to this, right? So subnet 1 and subnet 2. So according to that, you will get a IP address to this virtual machine. Suppose let's say this is 10.1 and this is 10.2. So both of these machines got the IP address 10.1 and 10.2. So if they are in same network, they will connect without any net route, right? As per the routing concept. So if they are in different network, then we will have to provide them a route for that, the routing table, or we call it as NSGs here in the Azure network security groups, right? So based on that, so under the VNet, if you have created a virtual network, and in the subnets, you will provide them a particular subnet, assign a particular subnet to two different virtual machines. So on this virtual network, this is in one of the virtual network, you can create another virtual network, and this VNet can be connected to other VNet, so that whatever you are hosting between this VNet and this VNet can talk to each other. Okay, that's about the concept of VNet. So here you can see I have hosted two machines, right? So one is a Windows machine and another one is Palo Alto VM. So just consider them as a name, not really about uh, firewall on the Windows. Just consider these two are the VMs. Okay, so if you see, these two VMs have its own resource group, right? And inside the resource group, I'll go here, networking, network settings. This is a virtual network which has, okay, if you go to the virtual network, so under the virtual network, we have given the IP address for that, which is 10.0.0.0/24. So from this subnet, this system will get a IP address. So if I go to overview and see the virtual machine IP address, one of the private IP address it got. So every machine has its own public IP address and the private IPs. Based on what subnet that we are assigning, based on that, the private IP address will get assigned to it. Okay, so this is about virtual networking. So, and also based on the interfaces you can do, let me go back and check on Windows machine. So Windows machine and network settings. And this is virtual network. See, this also has uh, this private network. And what is the IP address assigned to this? You will come back here. And see, there is a one more private IP assigned to it. So this is a public IP. We can access this device through this public IP as well. Okay. So inside this VNet, if you want to connect this VNet and other VNet, we can do that also in the Azure. So this is about the resource group, why we want to create a resource group inside the same. The resource group is nothing but you will have IP address, network security group, virtual network for that. So all these resources that we need to host a virtual machine will comes into the picture. So that's where we call it as resource group. So these are some of the examples. I mean, yesterday we just hosted a machine, right? So around that, I just try to show you what else we can do. So actually, it's good to we need to start from the basics so that I can cover the sections one by one, right? So that's the reason. And if I search about I think I don't have free solutions for the Entra ID. Otherwise, I would have thought of showing you what is Entra ID. No worries. So this is like a little example of a virtual network, how we are connecting our virtual machines, how we are hosting our virtual machines, what is public IP, what is private IP, what is Azure NST groups. This is like we are kind of jumping it from basics to very far, but if you try to start and then try to rearrange the things one by one, you will be able to understand in much better way. Any questions you have?